if a company says your information is private, do you think it actually is?
I would hope so.
You would hope so. Well, you may have to reconsider that because Glassdoor is now making it so you have to put in your full first and last name, your full name, into their website to make a profile.
That's a hard pill to swallow, by the way. It is
Yeah.
a very, very hard pill to swallow because Glassdoor famously has been anonymous, posting anonymous reviews to old jobs or current jobs.
Which is, I mean, a very good resource for a lot of new job seekers because one of the places that you look for, unless you're not really picky in terms of where you worked, is the work culture and what complaints are being said from real workers. And a lot of times, you know, they will go air their issues in Glassdoor because it's anonymous.
Yeah, it is anonymous, and I would not want my name or anyone else's name on any reviews because I haven't written any personally, but I've seen some scathing reviews on certain jobs.
I mean, and that's kind of the point. And it serves as like a wake up call in a lot of senses that, you know, like kind of saves some people from getting into really bad situations where like, oh, you know, this is like a dead end job. And it goes and shows like specifically to what position they had. They're like, oh, you were a engineer or software engineer, whatever,
Or accountant or anything like that. Yeah.
business analyst, something like that. And it says your experience, you know, like how long you worked there, and you write what you experienced, the good and the bad, the pros and cons. And I feel like that really helps because like as soon as you take out the fact that like your name's attached to it, I think you can be more honest.
Yeah, I agree.
And we have additional information about this and what other companies have to say after you consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. We come out with interesting videos like this one daily. So if you want to stay up to date with interesting content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So Glassdoor isn't the only player in this space.
Oh, okay. I did not know that because I mainly just like look at Glassdoor.
Yeah. So apparently there's another another site called Blind, and
I have heard of Blind actually. Yes.
They're disappointed to hear what is happening to professionals on Glassdoor. And I mean, that's what I think people are sharing regardless, because I think that if a company or someone wants to know who posted a bad review, they're going to find it.
Yeah, that is true.
And any additional information that gets put onto the profile, I feel like can and will be found.
Yeah, that is true. That is again true. I was thinking about this too, by the way. I remember that there was this guy who made multiple Glassdoor reviews, by the way. This is on the flip side of why this might be okay. But this guy made multiple accounts, and he posted to one particular job that he did not have a good experience in. And he posted a bunch of negative reviews for this certain job role. So people would look at the Glassdoor reviews and be like, wow, it's like, no, it's like, I don't want to work here. It's multiple 1 stars, multiple unfavorable working conditions, and multiple like don't agree with the CEO. So it messes with their hiring process.
And I feel it also messes with like retention, because people will go in and see that other people are experiencing the same thing. Because like sometimes it's like, oh, you know, maybe I'll move to a different department. But then you can look on there and it's like, oh no, this kind of like everybody's experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, so like I think potentially like I don't know how many people are going about and doing this, but potentially like that's one good side. But for the most part, the anonymous part is pretty good.
So Glassdoor made a warning, and it warns in its privacy policy, as it collects more personal data about the users, that it will be displayed publicly. There could be instances in which its mechanisms to protect users' anonymity are not perfect. So they say in the privacy policy that while we take your anonymity extremely seriously and make our best efforts to ensure that demographic data doesn't inadvertently lead to your identification, there are instances in which user identification or demographic data disclosure may occur. And I'm like, no.
Like, no, that is not good.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And I do agree that that is a huge betrayal of trust, because now, you know, they're asking for this information. I feel like before you could potentially fit in the pieces like, oh, how long did they work there?
Mm-hmm.
What if they name specifically people,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, you can kind of narrow it down from there. But that takes a bit more research instead of like, oh, if you somehow like can see the person's name, then it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's true. If you want to write multiple negative reviews anonymously, I think it should be your freedom to do so.
Or I mean, have a different way to confirm. Maybe having like a company email or something.
Yeah, true.
But then
But then at that point, you're already like out of the company, because I feel like most times when people are writing these reviews, then they're already out of the company, because I don't think you want to be like outed as the one person. Like if let's say you work at a smaller company, to be like, okay, there's only like 3 of you guys, 4 of you guys, one of you guys wrote a bad review here.
That is true. So then it's like kind of a pretty obvious thing who did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
it's hard.
There's a lot of talk recently about whistleblowers or like people talking bad about companies, and then immediately bad things start to happen to them.
Yes. Famously Boeing.
Famously Boeing.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Josh is referring to the whole mysterious death of a Boeing whistleblower who was testifying against Boeing.
Yeah,
Not exactly a Glassdoor review, but yeah.
Yeah, but can you imagine that? It's like, I feel like if you're writing reviews that you potentially are not anonymous for, you could be treated differently because of that. You might not want to. You might not get favorable treatment at work. You might get very unfavorable treatment.
Trying to get hired somewhere else.
Yeah, trying to get hired somewhere else. People who will say it's like, no, I don't want to be your reference. I saw like what you wrote on like Glassdoor. You didn't have a fond opinion of like your coworkers or your managers or stuff like that. So it's like there is a lot of implications that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a website supposedly trying to help people make informed decisions, be able to vent like things that are wrong with the company, like I mean, both wrong and good. Like sometimes Glassdoor reviews can be good and positive, but you know, it is like reviews their experience. The other one is that I do think companies definitely have obviously an agenda to make their company not look bad.
Yeah,
and one example that happened recently was a response to Marquez Browning.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Where he was reviewing a car. The what is it? Not Rimac.
Was it an electric car?
It was an electric car. It was
okay.
I think Justin Bieber had one.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. I don't know which one, but he was reviewing an electric car. He made a bad review on the car, and then the car company reached out to him.
No, it reached out to like the agents or the dealership that was selling this car, and was like, it's like, who was this person? Why was he given a car? He wrote such a bad review on it.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but that's what you like. In my opinion, stuff like that is like you need to like. If you are going to give a review, you have to be honest, and you have to know that the people that you're like giving this to, lending it to try, are going to be honest. That's the assumption you're going to be making. And if it's the dealership that's doing this without the permission of the brand, then it's like, well, you know, personally, I think that he would have reviewed it with or without this dealership. Personally, that's what I think, because one way or another, people are going to review.
Yeah, so I looked it up just now. So it's Fisker.
Oh, Fisker.
Yeah, Fisker.
Didn't that company go out of business?
It went out of business again. So
okay.
It went out of business and then was bought out, and then they made a new car, and then this car that he reviewed was the one that was apparently really bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is that this dealership was a Mitsubishi dealership and a Fisker dealership, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And he bought like a couple cars, and then to get more publicity, he let Marquez look at the car and review it. But you can't buy a review.
No, you cannot buy a review. Yeah.
So he just said what he felt, and he said it was the worst car he's ever tried.
Yeah, it's not really not good. It's you think about like Yelp reviews too, and if you say that, it like people take notice of like of where they're going and look at the reviews. So yeah, it makes
100%.
sense.
So my whole rationale about bringing that up is basically, even if you're like noticing who is saying these bad things, like negative, like either you won't get favorable treatment or like they'll kind of, you know, come after you in some way, shape, or form. Even if you're like a big reviewer or YouTuber or some other person doing reviews professionally. But think about the people who maybe don't have as much of a following that are making these reviews to, you know, warn people. I feel like, you know, they could be discriminated against pretty easily. So like the small guy. So I feel like by them having even like a bit of information, I feel like that's going to really affect them. Cause like maybe they're like, oh, you know, I guess my last thing is that HR can like look into your personal phone and like if you're in a chat room or something.
Yeah.
And then like review your personal messages to coworkers or something.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
If there's like some sort of issue going on with the company, and I'm like, what in the world? Like if they can do that and then like either fire you or like negatively
impact your workplace.
Your workplace based on that. I mean,
to the extreme, Boeing's case.
Yeah, I mean that's a really big extreme, but. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think this is as big of an issue as you think? Because they still say that there's like, oh, it's supposedly, you know, still anonymous. You can share as much or little information as you want. But I do think that there's so many different data breaches that happen, like Ashley Madison.
Oh my God, yeah,
that one was wild. Where like, oh, now everybody knows you're cheating on your spouse or
that's
whatever.
crazy.
So it's like if that can get out, I feel like there's gonna be a huge implication of having your name tied to this. So I do agree that if you have a Glassdoor and you wrote something there, you might want to reconsider having one if your information could be leaked. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.